Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash, and the Heavenly Father. The true name is Yahweh, and His Son begat Son, Bahashem, the name of Mashak, Yahweh Shah. Those are their true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lash Pankadash Low Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders, Wa'akim Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of prophecy updates as of November the 15th, 2024, on this Friday night. And this is a news article from the Jerusalem Post as of November 15th, 2024, and it reads, the UN force in Lebanon says artillery shell hits its West Sector headquarters. The United Nations intern forces in Lebanon, the UNIFIL, said that an artillery shell hits West Sector's headquarters in southern Lebanon on Thursday. It says there were no injuries among the peacekeepers and only minor damage to a facility, the UNIFIL added in a statement. And it says FBI says bigot text message also sent to alphabet lifestyle of Hispanic people. It says the IDF intercepted 3 drones launched from Lebanon. It says Blinken and Sir R discuss war in Gaza, Lebanon, as Gaza humanitarian aid. It says from the UNOCHA, there is an escalation in toll of Israeli strikes across Lebanon. Israeli men enters West Bank, rescue Abu this at the clashes breakout. It says one wounded from barrage in northern Israel, right as the tensions are rising between Hezbollah and the IDF. This is the book of Luke 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Upon the earth disgressive nations will perplex and seize Rejwan. Right, Iran versus Israel. Hezbollah versus the IDF. Pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. Seditions, uprisings, upwards in people in the world. The disgressive nations will perplex and seize Rejwan. That's what we're seeing in our world today. And this is the book of 2nd Esdras 9 and verse 3. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, uproars of people in the world. Right, so increasing earthquakes and increasing uproars of people in the world. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 15. For the sword that destruction draweth nigh. Right, Palestinians versus the IDF. Israelis versus the IDF. We seen what take place over there in France, when you had that France versus Israel been going on. You've been having those Israelis clashing against the Palestinians. So those are seditions among nations, uprisings and the uproars of people in the world, different ethnicity groups clashing against one another. And that's what we're seeing, the uproars and the people in the world. 2nd Esdras 15 verse 3. For the sword that destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. 2nd Esdras 15 verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, in the course of action stand in power. And this is the book of St. Mark, chapter 3 and verse 23. It says, and he called them unto him, and say in a parable, how can Satan cast out Satan? St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. St. Mark 3 and verse 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, cannot stand, but have an end. And this is the book of Mark. St. Mark, 13 and verse 7. It says, and when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? Iran versus Israel, pro-Iranian groups going against the IDF, North Korea, South Korea. North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, the United States, Russia versus Ukraine, Russia versus NATO. Those are signs of wars and rumors of wars. And there was a news article that just came out about the increasing cooperation between South Korea, Japan, and the United States versus North Korea and Russia. I believe it's a few words were quoted from Joe Biden saying that the increasing bilateral cooperation between South Korea, Japan, and the United States, the increasing cooperation is the only way to succeed the overthrow North Korea and Russia. It says, so those are signs of wars and rumors of wars. St. Mark chapter 13, verse 7, we'll read it again. It says, and when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end shall not be yet. Right, it's going to come to pass, but it's only going to continue to increase. This is St. Mark chapter 13, verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, right? Different ethnicities or armies clashing against one another. Just like Iran versus Israel, Hezbollah versus the IDF, Russia versus Ukraine, Russia versus NATO, Russia versus the United States, Belarus and Russia together going against NATO in the Western countries. So those are signs of nation shall rise against nation. St. Mark chapter 13, verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. Check out some more news articles that relates to biblical prophecies. It says Iran backs Lebanon in ceasefire talks seek to end problems. That's that First Thessalonians. For when they shall say peace and safety, such destruction come upon them as one which will a child that shall not escape. It says, is Italy protests to Israel over unexplosive sailings hitting Italian base in Lebanon. It says, Israeli strikes at Damascus suburbs, Syrian state news agency reports. And this is from November the 15th, 2024, from Reuters, and it reads, Israeli strikes Damascus suburbs, Syrian state news agency reports. Explosives were reported early on Friday in the vicinity of Damascus. Israeli aggression target areas in Damascus, the SANA says in a news flash. It says Israel carried out attacks on the suburbs of Damascus on Friday. The Syrian state news agencies, the SANA, said in a day after a wave of deadly strikes on what Israel said were militant targets in the Syrian capital. Explosions were reported early on Friday in the vicinity of Damascus. The Israeli aggressions target the areas in Damascus, Sana said in a news flash. It gave no other details. There is no immediate comment from Israel. Commanders in the Lebanon's Hezbollah armed groups and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps base in Syria has been known to reside, according to the residents who fled after recent attacks that killed some key figures in the groups. Mazar high-rise blocks has been used by the authorities in the past to house leaders of the Palestinian factions, including Hamas and Islamic Jihads. 15 people were killed on Thursday in the Israeli strikes in residential buildings in Masazah and Qadsiya suburbs. The state media reported state repeated reportedly. Israel said the attacks target the military sites and headquarters of Islamic Jihad. It says Israel has been carrying out strikes against Iran-linked targets in Syria for years, but has been ramping up raids since October 7, 2023. Attacks by Palestinian militants groups Hamas on Israel that sparked the Gaza war. Separately, the Israelis military said it has attacked on Thursday transit routes on the Syrian-Lebanese border that were used to transport weapons to Hezbollah. The Syrian state media reports that the Israelis attack completely destroyed a bridge on the area of Qasra, it's like Qasra, if I pronounced that right, in southwest of Syria, homes near the borders with the northern Lebanon. Bring up that Isaiah 17 verse 1. As we've been seeing, the cross-border conflict's been heating up between the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. And this is the prophet Isaiah 17 verse 1. The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being the city, and it shall be as heat. Right, that's what we're seeing. It's the book of Matthew 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. Like wars and rumors of wars. Pro-Iranian groups, Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran going against the Israel Defense Force, Iran versus Israel, signs of wars and rumors of wars. Especially with the latest attacks took place over there in Syria, Damascus, throughout that whole region, with the Israeli aggression of the IDF, because they've been targeting the Syrian armies, the pro-Iranian groups over there in the area, because they've been back and forth clashing between the two. So those are signs of increasing wars and rumors of wars. It says that ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but that is not yet. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Also, different ethnicity groups of armies of nations clash against one another. And that goes into the nation shall rise against nation, and the increase in kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, right? Increasing famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. It says Clark hit South Beirut after Israel calls evacuation call. It says Israel forces demolish Palestinian community center in Jerusalem. It says the Israeli strike kills 12 after hitting a civilian defense center in Lebanon's governor tells Reuters. Let's check out news now. It says Biden says South Korea Japan alliance is key to counter North Korea and Russia. Right, the signs of wars and rumors of wars. This is a news article from the Miami Herald, and that goes into that second address 15 verse 5. It says Pakistan and India declares health emergency as the city smoke spreads. It says another news article from the Los Angeles Times. The H5N1 bird flu infects five more humans in California and one in Oregon. Right, because it first started out over there in Oregon. Now, and right, because there was one over there in Austria. Right, because there was one H1 bird flu cases in Austria, uh, California, now in Oregon. So that's that second address, 15 verse 5, which I'm about to bring that out. So these pestilence and plagues that we're going to be seeing in the world today as well too. And this is because the Heavenly Father spoke about that was going to occur in the last days. And this is second address, chapter 15 verse 5. It says, Behold, saith Yahweh, that I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Yeah, this is the book of Luke 21 verse 11. Got the book of Luke 21 verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilence. Right, that's the key word, pestilence. And fearful sights and great sounds shall it be from heaven. Right, so as it reads again, the H1 bird flu infects four more humans in California and one in Oregon. It says Biden meets Pacific allies as Russia and North Korea ties deepen. Right, because they signed that deal like a couple of days ago. I believe it was a defense pact between South Korea. Not South Korea. I meant to say North Korea and Moscow. And this is another sign of wars and rumors of wars. And this is a news article from the Miami Herald, updated November 15th, 2024 at 7:57 p.m. Published by Jenny Leonard, Bloomington News, the Tribune, content agencies, World News, and it reads, it says Biden meets Pacific allies as Russia and North Korea ties deepen. It says the U.S. President Joe Biden and told the leaders of Japan and South Korea that their coordinated efforts were instance to counter North Korea's dangerous and destabilizing corporations with Russia as they meet Friday on the sidelines of the Apex summit in Peru. I truly believe the cooperation with our countries will be a foundation to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific for many years to come, Biden says. It says the meeting with Japanese Prime Minister and South Korean President followed